to make donations to or to fund certain projects within the county that enhance or preserve fish and wildlife habitat and or preservation of fish and wildlife themselves. And like the Junior Wildlife Derby we were just talking about, the Fish and Game Commission typically donates a substantial sum to that derby to pay for additional fish for the children to be able to fish for.
Okay. So it doesn't go to purchase of land?
No, sir.
Okay.
Any more questions from the audience? Alan, do you have a question?
I have a question. He stated that Judge Bradbury ordered, so why doesn't he just hold him in contempt and put him in jail and then it'll be done?
That was exactly my question to ADA Morris, and what happened is the district attorney's office sent a letter to Judge Bradbury requesting him to rescind that order.
Sounds like he needs a pair.
Yeah.
Any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we support the resolution.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion?
Under discussion, just want to say, first of all, Brian is going to be here a week from Friday. He and Senator James for the town hall meeting, so I think that would be a good question to engage him in while they're here visiting. But I think the idea of them taking the money, I mean, when you read that one code section, it talks about in excess of $100, which sounds like the first $100 is supposed to go to the local county. So in the worst case scenario, we should at least get $100 of that $14,000, but we should have $7,000 of that $14,000. And I think the code section, maybe county council can investigate to see which code section was adopted first, the history behind them, but more than likely they'll find that the 13,000 section probably came in after the earlier section was done. So the problem with a lot of legislation is that they pass new laws, but they don't necessarily repeal or clean up the old laws that are superseding, and that's what creates these kind of situations. And hopefully a case could be made to one trumps the other that. But I think Mr. Dolly would more than likely be happy to pursue this, and possibly when our delegate goes to RCRC tonight, tomorrow, if he's in Sacramento and sees Mr. Dolly, that he could, hand over the resolution.
Sounds good. Any other question, discussion from the public? Seeing none, we vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Paul. Okay, we'll go on to our 10 o'clock. State of Jefferson, consider adoption of declaration and petition or provide direction to staff. I think last meeting we decided to bring it back to council and have some changes made in the resolution. Bring it back today. For the sake of time, if you've already spoke and don't have something new to say, I'd appreciate it if we kind of keep it short. Staff, anyone speak on first? Changes it.
I don't feel any particular need. I did draft a revised declaration and petition, which I hope, I'm sure I'll have disappointed someone in some way, maybe even a group of folks. I'm getting accustomed to that. But I tried to strike a balance in the revised declaration and petition between the comments expressed from the board as well as the proponents of the state of Jefferson, and while trying to be faithful to the facts, the truth. So I don't know if you have any questions, but
Do the board members have any questions first before we go to the public hearing?
The only one I would have is in the 5th whereas. You go down to implementation of the Irrigated Lands Management Program, and implementation of the draft. It should be proposed. They're working on getting it, so it should be proposed. They haven't implemented it yet. So proposed should be added in.
thank you.
That was all I had.
Anybody else? If not, we'll go to public comment on this. Mark, do you have anything new that we haven't heard before?
No. The only thing I have to say is thank you for taking your time. I appreciate this. I appreciate Mr. Burns. A great deal of time and effort went into this, and all I have to say is from a case, Brown versus Thompson, after Reynolds, it's easier to oppress a people when they have no representative than if they had at least one per county. That's all we want is representation. Thank you.
Non-coach?
Coke.
Coach? I get that wrong every time, though. Come on up to the podium.
Good morning. My name is Donna Koch, Supervisor Kyle announced it. And, well, first of all, I want to take this time, as Mr. Barrett already did, to thank the board. Thank you very much, all of you, for your attentive listening. Without your interest and consideration, we wouldn't be here today to vote on a declaration wording. And I also want to thank Mark Baird for your vision and long-standing commitment. Along with Sally and Terry Raposa, thanks to all of you for your endless hours spent and the miles of travel that you've contributed to the formation of a great state. Thank all the Lassen County citizens whom I have known and whom I have met along the way in this endeavor. Thank you for spreading the word of the state of Jefferson by emails, by Facebook, by the 2014 Lassen County Fair, by weekend community events, and phone calls to your neighbors and your friends and strangers. Your time has been well spent to promote and support liberty and freedom with representation. And I'd like to give a hand to everyone who's participated. I just think that being here to talk about the state of Jefferson and its formation is a great tribute to one of our great founding fathers, and that is Thomas Jefferson. To quote Thomas Jefferson, I'd like to do that if I may. Sure. Thank you. He said, "God who gave us liberty, gave us life and liberty. And can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis, a conviction in the minds of the people that these liberties are a gift from God, that they are not to be violated, but with his wrath. Indeed, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever. My friends and neighbors, today I tremble for the state of California. I was born in Santa Cruz, California, and grew up in a small community south of there on the coast called Freedom, California. Besides being a community on the coast, freedom, just for fun, let's look at the dictionary. Freedom is defined as the right or power to act, speak, and think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Today, let's look at the definition of freedom. Well, it's changed a great deal. We are free if we do exactly as the government tyrannists tell us to do, or as our oppressors want us to do. And if we do things that are considered illegal, or if we follow the Constitution, we're criminals. That's freedom today. How it's changed. That is a government who exercises absolute power in a cruel and oppressive way. Our 40th president, Ronald Reagan, taught us to always put freedom first. He said, "Freedom is not something to be secured in any one moment of time. We must struggle to preserve it every day. And freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." He also said, "Freedom is the right to question and change the established way of doing things. It is the continuous revolution of the marketplace. It is the understanding that allows us to recognize shortcomings and seek solutions." This is a historic time in Lassen County and in the state of California, and we suffer under the oppressive rule of state politicians who have become a collection of tyrannical busybodies who just can't leave us alone. We have questioned the established way of doing things and have chosen to make a change to restore and preserve our freedoms and secure our state of being in liberty. Our once golden state has crumbled under the burden of debt, taxation without representation, over-regulation, and laws upon laws, many of them immoral. Just one example, AB 1266. It's also known as the co-ed bathroom bill. It became effective in California January 1st, 2014. This bill includes sports, gym lockers, and showers to be co-ed. I want also to not paint a picture of despair, although there is a lot of despair in California. Our Senator Ted Gaines has written a book, and it is entitled Kaboom, C-A-Boom, Kaboom. And in it he describes the problems and troubling trends and the poor outcome for California's future. He made a reference to a recent fiscal report that came out by the Free Market Cato Institute. And in that report, it is a report card of all 50 governors. Governor Jerry Brown came in, anybody guess? Last. Yes. Last, number 50. Despite his claims of austerity and beneficial action here and there, Brown's spending increases during the last 3 years have more than doubled the national average. And because spending equates to future taxes, his expansion will put pressure on government to increase our taxes. That means that you and I must carry a heavier burden. Life in California is hard, and it's going to get harder. I'll wrap it up. This is such a broad subject. There's so much to say, it's hard to condense. I apologize for going too long. But I just want to say that we have an opportunity. This is our opportunity to have a state that we can all be proud about and care about. And it also gives us a chance to have a voice in our government again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Roxanna Hall.
Mr. Chairman, just one remark before the speaker approaches the podium, or while she's approaching the podium. I wanted to comment that there's been some controversy from this county before on the accuracy of legal descriptions. And I want to remark that I'm not a surveyor, and I did not study the legal description. That was part and parcel of the initial declaration, so let it be heard here and now, no warranties, express or implied. We could be giving away some other part of California. It could be Modoc County. I doubt it, but I just want to go on the record and say that from the beginning.
It's off the internet, but I'm sure they'll get the
We
point.
know everything on the internet.
That's right. So,
Okay, thank you for that comment, that's very good.
Hi, my name is Roxana Hall. I got 13 years in Lassen County. I am a resident. I own 3 homes. I am not selling them, so I pay my taxes. I've got 19 years, 9 months in the Department of Corrections. I've worked from the Mexican border all the way up here. I support the state of Jefferson, 150%. I stake my job on that. We're not going to close any prisons. It doesn't happen. Somebody's always going to be out there committing a crime. I probably did it coming here this morning. So it's not going to happen. The number of officers, I've been awake since 6 o'clock yesterday, so I apologize. I do not have a speech, and I'm tired, and my voice is going. The number of people that I have seen retire in the 19 years, 9 months that I have been, and leave the state of California is very high. It's very high because we've got no gun rights. We've got no rights. We're overtaxed. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to continue to leave. People are going to leave Lassen County. It's a fact. We're going to die. We're going to move. Whatever it is. People are also going to move here if we become the state of Jefferson. That's a fact. I'm in touch with oath keepers from all over the United States, and the support that we're getting from the oath keepers for this movement is huge, and they're watching us. We're setting a precedence, and I am honored to be involved with this, and the people that are involved with this, because I'm not very politically correct, so a lot of people that I have worked with in my years doing this don't have any. You guys have some. Okay? Keep them. Don't let them be taken from you. And if you need to borrow mine, I got an extra set. Keep fighting the fight. Because I'm not moving. I'm staying right here. My grandkids are here. They're going to stay here. They're going to grow up here. This county it's not the best. And it sure the hell isn't the worst. It's good. There's good people here. I'm staying. Like I said, I'm not selling. And you can't make me move. I don't know what else to say. Keep fighting the fight. You guys are doing an awesome job, and don't stop. Whatever you do, just don't stop. We got no representation. They're taking our water. You want to talk about water? I'm not going to be told what I can take out of the ground. I can serve water better than anybody in this room. I collect it off the roof. How many counties say that you cannot collect the water off the roof? Any elected official that does not honor his oath needs to be impeached. Anybody that does not honor that flag needs to get the hell out of this country. Go. Sorry, I get a little riled. I was born and raised in Humboldt County. I was raised around a bunch of Vietnam vets, Hells Angels, bikers, and so I've been taught morals and scruples even by the bikers. Nice when they don't have tattoos. I love my country. I don't trust my government. I love where I live, and I'm not giving it up. I am not giving it up. I don't care who points a gun at me. I don't care what you do to me. I don't care if you arrest me. I'm going to fight the fight. I want you guys beside me. I want you in front of me. I want you in back of me. I want you surrounding me. You guys are awesome. I don't know most of you. You don't know me because I hide. Keep fighting the fight, guys. Please, don't stop.
Comments, Mullen?
Tehama County. I'm a lifelong resident of Tehama County. And as I said the last time I was here, I'm not trying to bring our problem from Tehama County here. What I am with a little bit of wisdom, and I can see the board has plenty of wisdom here also. You've been able to go through some of the changes that we've been going through. It's almost like in school where they say our kids have been dumbing down. They've been dumbing us down too. And it's about time we wake up. I stopped in at one of the local restaurants to have breakfast this morning when we arrived. And I had to use the restroom. And I think the spotted owl beat me there. Half of the toilet paper was gone. Our country has been disintegrating so slow we have not noticed what's been going on. And it's our fault. We have waited years and years too long to come here and talk to you or any other Board of Supervisors, because that's where the power is, with the Board of Supervisors. And they're taking it away. How can anybody get mad at having more representation? That sounds crazy to me. That's when the boards were powerful. And that's when our schools were powerful. Too, when the boards of schools was run by the county. It makes a lot of difference, Thank you.
Elaine Richard.
Eileen Richard?
I'm Eileen Richard. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, and I would like to thank the board for all their work. This morning, the issue of representation within the California state government is once again before the Board of Supervisors. And as Supervisor Chapman pointed out at a previous board meeting, the creation of a new state has been tried before and has always failed. This is true. It is also true that through the decades, the government and courts has gained more and more power and control over every public and personal aspect of our lives. We are no longer able to even discuss an opposing view on government policies or court rulings. If we try to reclaim our water rights, property rights, use of resources, medical care, food choices, religious liberty, or control over the education and raising of our children, we are branded as hateful, bigoted, racist, sexist, terrorist, homophobic, religious fanatics, and climate change deniers. We are then targeted by the IRS. Our jobs and assets are in jeopardy, and we have to endure days or months of verbal persecution by the mainstream media until we profusely apologize and fork over a ton of money for the crime of disagreeing and speaking out against the dictates of the government. This abuse of power did not happen overnight, and it will never end. It will never be enough. There will never be enough taxes, regulations, compliance, data mining, political correctness, indoctrination. This is why I feel we have nothing left to lose. We may not succeed this time at regaining our right to self-governance, but we should never stop trying. My biggest fear is that if we do succeed, the majority of people will just go back to sleep. And in time, we will just end up with the same all-consuming government that we have now. Just showing up at the voting booth is not enough to secure liberty. In my opinion, the loss of our rights and freedoms has happened because too many citizens are not willing to make sure that the Constitution as founded is being upheld by their representatives. I think we're all aware that we have our work cut out for us. This process will have to be tackled at the federal level as well as the state and local level. Today's vote will be a very critical first step in returning our right to representation. And I would like the board and everyone else here today to know that I'm willing to do the hard work necessary to succeed. And I will never give up, and I will never again let down my guard against the constant erosion of our rights, freedoms, and responsibilities. Thank you.
Gary Bridges.
Good morning, I'm Gary Bridges, born and raised right here in Lassen County, lived here, I'm 64 years old, and I do not like the changes I see in my lifetime. We have no logging, we have extreme wildfires because they're not taking care of our forests correctly, and we need to have a say-so in that, and I think the state of Jefferson can be the opportunity that we've all been looking for. You know, I talked to our board of supervisors. Almost every one of you I fought to get up there. And I really appreciate the job you're doing, and I hope this vote goes the right way. But, you know, I laughed when I first heard the spotted owl back in the 70s. You know, I thought, oh, that's so silly. You know, an inch at a time, an inch at a time, and an inch at a time, an inch at a time. They've taken it away from us. They've taken it away from our children. They're dumbing them up in schools. We have zero rights in this state. We need to have our own state, so we have some say-so about where we're going and what the future brings for our children. Thank you.
Carol Byron.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the board for letting us have this opportunity to speak. And I'd like to thank them for all the work they've done on this matter so far. My name is Carol Byers. I've been a resident of Lassen County since May of 1978. And I, too, have been in California since I was born. I mentioned last time my family's been here since 1849. And I don't like the changes I've seen within the state. You can't do anything anymore. Every facet of your life is regulated, and they're increasing regulations all the time. And I also want to emphasize the fact that we're not being represented. I've been complaining for probably 15 years to anybody that would listen that they take our money, our resources, they tell us we can't log, and we're not being represented. They take our money and we don't get the representation. And I'd like to address something Mr. Armitrout said. California's already broke. We're trillions in debt. We have trillions in unfunded liabilities. The prisons are not going to close. In fact, they're releasing 1,100 prisoners from CCC, the California Correctional Center, because there's not room to house them. They're letting them all go. So the prisons are not closing. And I want to finish by saying that all politics are local. In 2009, early 2009, I was here for a town hall meeting with Congressman Tom McClintock. And it was before Obamacare was passed. And he brought a copy of it. And I saw it. He had books and notebooks, and they stacked up this high. That was the paperwork for Obamacare. And a woman in frustration stood up and she says, "But what can we do?" And he said, that it's all, you have to start locally. You have to get good people on your school board. You have to get good people on your city councils, on your board of supervisors, and then kind of work up from that. Anyway, I think that's true, and I applaud you for your efforts, and I hope you vote for the state of Jefferson to give it a chance, and I thank you.
Barbara Keeling.
Good morning.
My name is Barbara Keeling. I live in Janesville. We've lived in Lassen County for the last 13 months. We came here from Shasta County. My family arrived in California in 1969. We are from Havana, Cuba.